Good evening, good day, wherever you are watching this. This is the Dads for Truth podcast with yours truly, Ray, and Mr. John on the other end of Las Vegas. So happy to have you here. And John, first of all, how you doing?
I am all right, brother. How you doing?
Good, good. So, hey, let me stop sharing for a second here so they can see us a little clearer. So, I've got 3 videos tonight, and 2 of them are ridiculous, and we're just gonna, I guess, talk about the ridiculousness of it. One is a video with Drew Barrymore and Kamala Harris. Um, the other video is Nancy Pelosi talking nonsense about jobs and about the economy and lying to everybody's face. And the third one is the campus protests of so-called protesters, but this one happens to be at NYU in New York, where we have a overabundance of idiots. So we'll go from there, and I'll start sharing, John, and we'll take it from there. Okay. So
All right, let's do it.
without further ado, let's share.
Drew.
You're good.
Hey,
here we go.
I'm a poet.
So our guest
Oh my God, look at
needs
her.
no introduction. She is the first Black, first South Asian, and yes, first female Vice President of the United States.
All right, so I wanted you to hear that clip first, John, because of how ridiculous it is. How many boxes? And I used to like Drew Barrymore, but she's become a real idiot. And she's such an actress on this show. It's like she's not even herself. But the whole the first Black, like checking all these boxes. If she was something else that checked the liberal boxes, she'd be checking that box too. But I wanted you to see that, and then I'm going to skip over to another section of it just because I wanted you to see that ridiculousness. So let's go over to 525 in the video, and you got to hear her more of her kissing Kamala's butt after this amazing commercial.
Wayday's coming.
Wayfair's
Cut off,
biggest
John.
sale of the year is
Wayday's coming, baby. Oh,
clever.
I'm
I
excited.
fine. Here's the follow-up by Drew Barrymore.
I keep thinking in my head that we all need a mom. I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country. And as a woman who respects so much and wants to share and wants to be confident and has no ounce of me that has competitiveness,
Yeah,
when we lift each other up, we all rise.
that's exactly right.
Oh my
right.
God.
That's right. That's right.
However, we need a great protector.
John, holy crap.
Okay, ready? Come on now. Mamala. All right. So all right, let me start off with this. Okay, let me start off, on a not so
I'm gonna have to light a
Right.
smoke here, John, while you start that. I got a whole gift pack that I'm working on right now. So
really.
yeah, I had to. After seeing that video, I know that, hey, I know it's not a hard drug, but damn, after listening to Kamala and Drew kiss
After
each
that,
other's
I'm gonna fill
butts,
this up with whiskey.
yeah,
All right.
well, take a break and go do that.
All right, so while you smoke, let me elaborate a little bit. Okay, so let me start off on like a not negative note. Okay, I don't want to say positive because it's not like positive, but Drew Barrymore isn't wrong in the fact that there is a lot of terrible things, and there's a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. And there is a great need for some love. Okay. However, it's, love coming from the form of some lady who's politically motivated, as and raised up as a mother figure is not the way to go. What we need is the love of God. Okay, that's what we need. That's the first thing.
I wanted you to take notice at the
I got more to say.
The way Hollywood deals with someone who speaks in word salads constantly and is probably one of the dumbest politicians ever produced in the United States, and is strictly there because of really, the I'm black, I'm Asian, I'm a woman, I'm over 40, all the boxes.
Okay, so now that I got that part out of it, right? There is a great need for some love and compassion and some peace. However, this lady is not the one to do it, because she is one. The fact that you have to mention that she's black, she's a female, she's Southeast Asian, she's all these different things.
Yeah,
tells you exactly why she's there. If you just say, "Hey, this is the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. I'm honored to have her on my show," that's different. We don't say, "Well, this is the first guy from New York who was never a politician before he became the president," right? About Trump, do we? No.
Who they were all friends with before. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So like you said, it's all about checking boxes. It's but like you and I know, and we've done other projects, podcasts, and things on this. It's not about race, because race isn't even a real thing. And the fact is that if you have to mention it, that means that is your motivation. Because when I'm looking at people, I do my very best to not look at them based upon whatever, are they black, white, female, whatever. The Bible says that there isn't such a thing when you're dealing with Christ, right? So in other words, it's politically motivated. It's obviously a politically motivated thing, right? And that's the only reason why she's there.
Well, I love you, John. And this is one case where I would say, don't invoke the Bible, and here's the reason why. The reason I showed you this video was because it's endemic of the greater problem.
The problem is we're not picking people, okay, Martin Luther King, right? All these guys like to use Martin Luther King, right, as an example. Well, what did he say? Right? I want to live in a world where we're not known after the color of our skin, but the content of our character. But they're doing the exact opposite.
Do you notice though how a big deal is no longer made about MLK's birthday, even with the black politicians, because
of that very statement.
Yeah, that no longer fits their agenda, because Black Lives Matter and everything else, and the placating to identity politics is far more important to them than anything else. I just realized too, John, my head looks really big and fat on this screen compared to yours.
Not to make an issue, but it looks like that way in person.
This is where being at a distance comes in handy for you.
Of course, you think I'd say that to your face? I ain't dumb.
I love you, John. See, this is what I love about it's just the trash talking that we can do. But all things aside, what I wanted to end on with that was just this. Think about all of how much good all these celebrities could do if they simply were honest, right?
Yeah.
You won't see The View, you won't see Drew Barrymore, you won't see any of them fairly having a conversation. They're so enamored and basically in love. I mean, you see her in her eyes, it's like she's in love with this person who's a politician who cares nothing, knows nothing of the real world, nothing of how real people have to deal with, right? And has done nothing but play the race card. She's accomplished nothing. She's the border czar and has done nothing to secure the border. So
here's the issue, right? People, and whether they're in Hollywood or whether they're musicians, or anybody in that Hollywood like bubble, that Hollywood, they're there because their minds think a certain way. They're more creative and emotionally based by nature. That's why they're good at what they do, but they're not logical. So they're going to base everything upon emotions and feelings. And so this is why you see them doing and acting and saying and the things that they do. And really, if you want to be honest, back to the last video we did, this is why they get themselves in trouble with sexual problems, because they're all emotionally based. And I'm not saying we should need to be like Spock with no emotions. Absolutely not. I'm big into understanding people's feelings and emotions too, but you got to be logical. You can't vote for people because they make you feel good. You can't vote for people.
Well, think about it. That's Hollywood, right? Hollywood it's an act.
It's exactly what it is.
It's an act. It's not real. Let's put actors to interview politicians. That'll go well, right? That'll go well. We'll get the truth out of them for sure. And if the actor likes that person, boy, we're definitely going to get hard questions, aren't we? So
these people,
they throw softballs at them.
Dude, these people are the reason why we're in the problems that we're in, because actors and actresses, right, and musicians, and these creative types, which again, I am like a pretty creative person, so I'm not like bashing them, well, not completely, maybe I am a little bit, but they have way more influence than they should over our society, and so our kids and even a lot of adults are influenced by these people. That's why celebrities are the ones, doing commercials for certain products.
Yeah.
And,
I have a better video for you that you're gonna like even more. That one was just a ridiculous comic relief for us to watch for a minute of how ridiculous it can get. But let me show you another video. This one actually, you might be impressed that the sort of very liberal reporter actually kind of calls out Nancy Pelosi on some ridiculousness, which kind of shocked me. But here we go. Let's take a look here. I think you're going to have a little fun with this one.
Back on air about it. Check it out.
Is doing that, created 9 million jobs in his term in office. Donald Trump has the worst record of job loss of any president. So we just have to make sure people know.
That was a global pandemic.
He had the worst record of any president. We've had other concerns in our country. If you want to be an apologist for Donald Trump, that may be your role, but it ain't mine. And he has the worst.
Anybody can accuse me of that.
Okay, so this is what.
So I wanted to see.
This is MSNBC, right?
MSNBC,
Okay.
which normally is as left as it gets almost.
Well, the last statement we heard before we paused it, right, was nobody could ever accuse me of that, is what she says. Because MSNBC is so far in the pockets, and I would say in the underpants, you're doing some, of the liberal Democratic Party, right? That if this lady is saying this, then Nancy Pelosi is full of shit.
Here's what I find interesting is you have, and I have again, I have friends that are that vote Democrat. I would challenge them. This is a video clip that I think is a really good thing for our viewers to save and show their liberal friends and say, hey, do you agree with this? So you have Pelosi, who can't even admit she's using a job loss from when we shut down 97% of businesses. And then she uses the job growth of Biden, who took advantage of those same exact jobs reopening later.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like the dishonesty, how someone who votes Democrat can't see Pelosi and not see the dishonesty and say, hey, if she's dishonest about that, how about everything else that they talk about or she talks about, right?
Well, there's a meme going around on Facebook. I've seen it a few times, and it's Joe Biden talking to some lady, and Joe says, "Well, it created 9 million jobs," and this lady says, "Yeah, I've got 3 of them." Right? Because they tried this back with Obama too. It's like, listen, yeah, okay, yeah, you got 3 part-time jobs. Okay, so the job growth is like, no, idiot. You know what I mean?
Well,
And like you said, these are just businesses that were closed during the pandemic. So,
yeah. Well, I worked for a payroll company during COVID, and we lost just 70% of our businesses just shut down, and we have some big businesses under our belt, and
hell yeah.
so you're talking about again the idea here that Nancy Pelosi cannot get herself to be honest, and that's I think the difference between conservatives and liberals is that we'll be brutally honest a lot of times about each other and about you can
True.
see how we have more infighting. The liberals will stick together even when they're all freaking wrong as hell. They will stick with each other for almost everything, whereas conservatives tend to debate and say, hey, you're wrong, these are wrong facts, these are the actual facts. So you and I can say, especially if we see for example a conservative making claims that aren't true, we'll call it out. And
Hell yeah.
but
Absolutely.
you have the inability, guys like Ben Shapiro, guys like Michael Knowles, they'll call out hypocrisy even on the right. But the left doesn't do that very much. And that's the thing is you have Nancy Pelosi who on camera and is lying to everybody, and nobody else. You don't see the New York Post, you don't see the LA Times, anybody else talking about the fact check with their own fact checkers stupid things that Trump says or somebody else says, but yet they won't do anything. We've lost the honesty in journalism. There is no honesty on the left. There's not a whole lot on the right except for a select few. So it's scary. What is a voter supposed to who are they going to listen to? The low information voter watches Nancy Pelosi.
Well, think about something you mentioned about fact checkers. Well, think about, when did fact checkers start coming about? When people started challenging what they saw.
2016, when they were trying desperately, and this is also a desperate attempt this is desperation here by the liberals to not get Trump elected, but they started in 2016 during the debates with Trump and Hillary trying to discredit Trump with fact checkers that were bought by the left.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, fact checkers. We never needed fact checkers before. Why? Because, people didn't start standing up and start challenging the truth, going, that doesn't sound right. Right? But now, so I will say this, with all the
I could start a company called Fact Checkers and have them fact check me, my own company, and they'll probably be really fair, right? If I own the fact checking company and they're fact checking me, they'll be totally fair. I mean, there won't be any bias there or anything.
Of course they would. There's no bias. Are you kidding?
There's no bias there.
Never. Ever. These people.
All right, hey, go ahead.
I was saying, Nancy Pelosi drives me nuts. She drives me nuts because nothing she says, like, she sounds like.
Remember when
she sounds like know what she sounds like? She sounds like some of the homeless drunk people that I used to work with in Bible college. Right, when they're wasted and they haven't slept in like 5 days, and they're rambling on about something that you're trying to figure out where they're going. Yeah, the other day there was a green chicken, and I went to McDonald's, the Red Sox one. That's what she sounds like.
Do you remember 2018 when after Trump had been in office for 2 full years and had completely turned around the economy and it was humming, lowest unemployment. So one of the reporters was talking to Nancy Pelosi on, like, it was like Meet the Press or something, and talking about how the wages for low income people for 2018 was up over $1,000 from 2015, Obama's last year in office. And she said, "Oh, that's just peanuts." Well, then in 2020, was it 21? I think it was, or I might have the dates wrong. There was a report that she was asked about where the income for, after everything that happened, the income for low income individuals was up like $72, and she says, "What a difference that's going to make in everybody's lives." That $72, but she called the increase of almost $1,100 in Trump's administration peanuts. So it's amazing. You listen to that and you just like blows your mind at the stupidity of it. I gotta go. We have to have time for this video to show you next. Okay,
Let's do it.
so let's do it. And I think you're gonna have a lot to say about this one, but here we go.
I've been thinking about. I'm sure I will. Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Police actions at Columbia University that ended the standoff there late last night. Officers moved in.
First, I want you to check out, John, the damage that these supposedly peace-loving students did to a campus where it's taxpayer funded.
To clear
I've been
protesters
following you very
barricaded in Hamilton Hall, and also those who were in the encampment on the quad. Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan is live in Lower Manhattan, and he continues our coverage. Jim.
Well, this reaction to last night's NYPD action to clear Columbia and CUNY campuses was about what you'd expect, right? Some people condemned it, but others said the NYPD last night acted with great restraint and a firm resolve. Police moved through Hamilton Hall last night, door to door, to secure the Columbia campus building after demonstrators had seized it the night before. Moments earlier, police made entry into the building through a second-floor window, and when the barricades had been cleared, they cut through the chains and took control of the campus.
They tried to lock us out, but the NYPD and the people of the city of New York will never be locked out, and we will always work together to keep our city safe.
All right, so a couple things there. Obviously, you're aware of the protesters, so to speak, who most of them weren't even students there, or they were going from campus to campus like paid protesters or professional protesters, I guess.
I have a lot to
Right.
say about this, so go ahead. We'll put together before I get
I want your take, because obviously I wanted you to note the damage, and that's not the only damage. Lots of damage. They broke almost every window inside there, every office window. This is how they protest, and half those students are immigrants. This country from Arab nations, a lot of them are idiot white liberals who don't have anything else better to do, but be professional protesters, damaging the school that we pay for, and then sitting there barricading themselves with resisting the police. We're spending all this money. This is supposedly peaceful protest. So I'd love your take on this one.
All right. So first of all, I've been following this very closely. I did a few Facebook videos on this. Okay. One, peaceful? Are you out of your mind? What? They forced themselves into a building. They broke all the windows. Okay, and they're calling it peaceful. Two, they're actually literally kidnapping people. Okay, I saw a video where there was these two poor students. And I don't know if they were Jewish or not, but they were two students, and I believe it was Columbia, and they were up against some locked doors on the outside of the campus, and the whole group of the Palestinian protesters locked arms and says, "You're not getting out. We're forming a human chain. You can't get through." And they had them pinned up against the wall. I saw another one where I don't know, this one I don't know where it was, but they were tasing a middle-aged Jewish man on campus, and they flipped off the cameras. Now, this is absolutely not peaceful. And then they had the balls to demand that that the city provide them food and water. Are you out of your damn minds?
Did you hear in Florida, they took the right approach. University of Florida,
they tear gassed them.
No, they turned on the sprinklers.
Yeah. Oh, but they were tear gassing them. They were turning on the sprinklers. In Texas, they sent in the National Guard and kicked their asses out right away.
Well, here's the thing: we all support the right to protest. I think, like you said, the fact that it went well beyond that, and that none of these mayors, Joe Biden didn't say a damn word. What a POS that guy is. Didn't say a damn word. Didn't condemn it. Nothing.
He didn't say nothing.
And you had not only, like you said, people barricading and preventing people from leaving. They told all the Jewish students to stay home, who paid good money to be there. I'm a student. Why can't I come in? And they were blockading.
Yeah.
They were blockading students from getting through, and even professors who were Jewish, not letting the professors of that school get through. Can you believe that?
Okay, I can tell you right. I don't care what these universities say, especially Columbia, because if they really gave a damn about these students, if they were really not on the side of these protesters, then they would refund the money for all these kids who can't get to damn school. But they're not. You know why? Because they're in it for the money, right? You know, if they
it's been a racket for years, as you know. Especially Ivy League schools are not what they used to be.
Hell no. No, think about it. Well, you know, you're collecting money and not giving out the service that you said, you know, and then you're telling the kids to stay home and take it online. No, refund the kids the damn money, right? And show yourself to be who you said you are.
Take the money that you spend on the illegal immigrants, housing them, feeding them, all that. Take that money and give it to the students who are there legally, who are trying to earn their right to be an employee in America and get a good job. You know, give them the money.
Well, one of these guys who was he was the leader initially, I think, at Columbia. He goes online. He goes online and says, "You guys are lucky I'm not out killing Zionists." And then when they kick him off and ban him, he says, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I shouldn't have said it like that." Oh, shut up, you idiot! Right? This is not peaceful, and this is the thing. This is why I'm so heated about this, because I got a kid, and so do you. You got 3 kids, but you got a little girl, right? And I do too. And you know, and Abigail is going to be. I'm not going to, obviously, I'm not going to mention exactly how old she is online, but she, in a few years, she'll be college age. And I'm going to tell you right now, you know me, I am as peaceful and seeking like conflict resolution as anybody you're going to find. But if my kid gets trapped by a mob like that, I'm going to drive my truck right through them without a second.
No, I'm with you. I was thinking the same thing, that you lay a hand on my kid, I don't care if I go to jail or not. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you pay.
Yeah, and
maybe it's not biblical to seek retribution, but when you're talking about our family and protecting our family, this is somebody's kid going to college. That professor is somebody's dad or grandpa teaching at that college. You have the right to protest. That's the freedom you have here. But then these same idiots spit on the United States, burn our flag, and accept every benefit and freebie they can get.
Speaking of flags, you know what they did at Harvard? At Harvard University, over the statue of John Harvard. I remember I took my wife there when we were dating, because I'm from Massachusetts, and so we went into Cambridge, just outside of Boston. We went to Harvard Square, right? And she used to be really into like Ivy League colleges. We went to Harvard. So we sat with the statue, we took pictures. There's an American flag right over the statue of John Harvard. You know what they did? Not only did they take it down, but then they raised the Palestinian flag instead. And the
administration, what did the administration of the school do?
Nothing. They let them do it.
Nothing.
So and so, we're trying to resolve this peacefully. Stop.
Shove it. Shove it.
Stop it. Okay. I'm done because like you said, they take they take the benefits, they take the money, right? They all the benefits of coming and living here, and then they do this. And these idiots are out screaming. There was another group somewhere, I don't know where they were, saying, "We are Hamas. We are Hamas." You idiots! If Hamas takes over this country, you're the first ones that tossing off a building.
Well, hey, and guess what? There's a cherry on top of this. Guess what the Biden administration is talking about doing? You may have heard this today. In that aid package to Ukraine, they always try to hide a bunch of crap. There's a bunch of money in there to try to patriate Palestinians into the United States from Gaza. I'm not joking.
Yeah, because we don't need more terrorists in the country. And by the way, any you idiots who are going to take that statement and try to make me look like I hate Palestinians, that's not what I meant.
Here's the thing.
Okay, what I'm saying is
they had a poll in Palestine. 77% of Palestinians support Hamas. So yes, we are speaking to 77% of you.
Yeah.
If you're listening, yes, the problem is you. You are the problem.
Yeah.
And we're going to stand against you.
Yeah, the problem isn't, well, you're Palestinian. The problem is who you support, right? Because even if it was 1%, it doesn't matter. How many people did it take to blow up the Twin Towers?
Yeah, 5 guys and a few people coordinating it. And yeah, you let, it's like I've talked before, and I know we disagree on the church thing, but you let evil in, evil will unfortunately find its way in this evil world to do bad. And so when you allow unvetted people, whether it's southern border, whether it's coming in, why can't they go? There's tons of countries in Saudi Arabia, the area of Saudi Arabia, that have plenty of space and plenty of money to take on refugees from their own from a country nearby. Why don't you hit up Saudi Arabia or Oman or somebody else over there with all that money?
There's a guy on Joe Rogan. I don't know how long ago, but the clip keeps popping up online. I keep seeing it. This guy used to work with them all, right? Big, huge, Italian-looking dude, right, from New York. I think he's from New York. He sounds like it, right? And he said, "Listen, if I want to take over this country, all I need is 3 bad motherfuckers. I don't need an army. I just need 3 people, right? 3 badasses, and I can take over the whole damn country." Okay? You got these guys who are willing to die, for the cause of, blowing up buildings and taking over countries. Whole armies of them.
Well, they're promised kingdom.
You don't think that you let some of these people in?
They're promised a gateway into the kingdom.
Yes, exactly what they're promised.
If they do this, so the more infidels they take out, the more praise and the more gifts they'll have when they get to the promised land, right? So we know this is the doctrine of the Quran, and we know exactly what these Islamists will do. And anybody who says that these are mostly peace-loving people, if they were, unless they're under duress of some kind, they voted almost 80% that they support Hamas. We know what Hamas did on October 7th. It's on video. It's documented. They posted their own videos of the atrocities they created. Anybody who supports Hamas is no friend of the United States. Anybody in Palestine, unfortunately, probably isn't a friend of the United States.
You and I, in a project a few months ago, talked about the whole Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Remember?
Yeah.
And I want to call your attention to one of the facts that we talked about, which was Hamas was so damn evil that the rest of the PLO kicked their asses out of the West Bank and said, "No, what, you guys go take freaking Gaza. We can't deal with you anymore."
Yeah.
When the rest of the terrorist world can't freaking handle Hamas.
When they're too radical for them, right? Yeah, that should tell you a lot. Yeah. So, and you know what? And we're about to wrap it up here, but one of the interesting things is that there is so much more to this. I do want to circle back at some point to a video that a former Hamas leader did in the United States. He talks about the capabilities and the doctrine, so to speak, that they follow, and it's pretty scary stuff. So we'll have to definitely hit that up on a future video. That, and probably touch on a little bit of kind of update on this, on what's going on, and see what the government's actually doing about it, whether it's right or left, to see if they're standing up for America or they're caving into the polls or whatever. But certainly I'd like to see some of the politicians that we believe in stand up. It looks like DeSantis is doing it for sure. Looks like Abbott's doing it in Texas. So
Yeah.
hopefully we don't have any issues, but no any issues with them not upholding their office, because their duty is to keep us safe. That is their oath of office.
Yeah.
As mayors, as governors, as president. And in my opinion, not only Mayorkas should be impeached for the southern border, but Biden should be impeached for what he's done with national security in the United States. So I'll leave it at that. Last word for you, John, before we head out. Anything you want to tell our listeners?
Yeah. Listen, we understand that there's going to be people who disagree with us, and that we can get pretty passionate sometimes about the things that we believe, especially when it comes to things that affect our kids. We do want to hear what you have to say. We are open for discussion, but anything that's going to affect my kid, is you're going to get a very passionate.
Well, there's a reason why our podcast is called Dads for Truth, because we seek that, but we're also going to give you a no nonsense opinion, and it may be abrupt, but it's something we passionately believe in, and John and I are both dads, and so to dads out there, to moms out there, to families out there, protect your family and do the right thing. Make sure you stand up for what's right, not what's not what you see on TV, and make sure you do your research too on what's going on. So with that, please like and subscribe to our podcast. We want to grow. We're working with a couple other podcasters too to grow the channel. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. John, have a good night.
Peace out.
Peace out.